Hey guys, it's Kusi. Welcome back to the second episode of me coping about the durability of my sanity, as absolutely no one uses the spells to make my life any easier. In this Zero to Hero, I'm a tree, I'm a sad tree. In the last episode, we started this journey that goes far beyond Keystone Hero itself. The goal is clear and probably impossible for me to achieve, as we try to get every damn dungeon on a plus 10 timed, as well as potentially aiming for a plus 12 key to finish me off.
Naughty, you teasing me!
To finish this series off. English isn't my first language, man, pardon me. I showed you what I did to grab myself some free and easy items to quickly get up to a formidable 590 item level in order to start keys, which ended in a miss that I didn't want to talk about anymore. But we will go over what happened there today. And so this episode starts the same way the last ended, face down in the dirt, praying for teammates that for once have a firm grip on balls. With that being said, if this sounds like an episode you want to take a quick moment to appreciate your DPS life, as healer do in fact struggle just a little bit more, use kick, you piece of shit, and make sure to leave a like, as it really helps me coping and hoping for the day that healing will be more fun. And also subscribe, because I was not aware that the most annoying healer affix in this world will be up so quickly in this series, just for your entertainment. Use the spell, you piece of shit. Alright, so after getting our hairy feet wet in Ara Kara 2 to start the series proper, I decided to at least do a plus 3 key in order to stack up hero tracks in the Vault. Yes, doing plus 4 would have been smarter for the crests, but plus 4 also means fortified as part of the equation. So I gotten into a Mist 3, sounds good, should be an easy one. In fact, it was so easy that we arrived on Mist Quarter with 0 deaths, clean sheet. But the wonky stuff started to happen. For example, killing the wrong mirror which ends in a big explosion, or not dodging the balls, or killing the wrong ad even though your healer is telling you which one to go for, or tank not kicking the cast that only he can kick. So we pretty much died to every possible thing this boss had to offer. Let me say this again, arriving on the boss with a clean sheet. So clean, we probably still had time to finish this without any further mess ups. Shit's rough out here, man. Stormbolt was next on the list, and at this point I was streaming my progress. But Kusi, where could I find you stream? Oh, great question, I'm glad you asked. Twitch.tv/KusiSlayer, link down below. How about you follow for free and hang out with us every now and then? Sorry for the cheeky self-plug. So yeah, Stormbolt. One that scares me as a healer. For one, there's a Dispel on the first boss that the healer has the ability to min-bags, but more on that later. The double boss that dishes out so much damage if kicks aren't used, and a Void Malphite that drops little crystals for a party-wide AoE that can stack and instantly wipe the party if not played correctly. Now that I think of it, every boss in this dungeon has some sort of mechanic where DPS decide the incoming damage. That's just great. But like I said, more on this later, as we return with a higher key level soon. So let's talk about Ara Kara instead. Our tank decided to do a big pull on the first big ad, which is fair considering it's a plus 3 and there's no fortified. But then the fear went through. And while our tank just gave us the equivalent of the question mark spam in League of Legends, I did some review and saw that he, in fact, did have his kick up. So if you wonder why the fear went through, it's because he didn't kick it. Yet the fun stuff started on the first boss. Besides our tank not being bothered to move the boss just a little bit, we also had 2 people dying to the swirlies. Unfortunate. Oh, they died again, on the first swirly. Not sure if that's still unfortunate. I think we wiped 3 times and had 1 reset. At least I don't need to blame myself for this one. I did a few more dungeons after in an attempt to at least get 2 hero slots in the vault. However, I forgot to record the first 2. I know. I'm getting old, man. You didn't miss much though, besides some extremely annoying, overconfident prot paladin that ensured everything is okay whenever he messed up, but called everybody else a troll if they did an oopsie. What I did record though, luckily, was my first attempt at a plus 4. Why is this bigger? 2 reasons. First is that plus 4 now drops the rune crest that I need to eventually craft myself 619 item level. The second is that besides the weekly Salatat's bargain affix, we also now deal with fortified, meaning every trash mob HP and damage is buffed by 20%. But hey, it's a plus 4, surely this won't be as impactful. Okay, maybe it is. When I was looking at the comp, I wasn't too stressed as I can just play the Ascension affix myself. Bloodlust is missing, but we got 4 people who can CR, which is arguably even better at this key range. The most common issue we had there was a lack of kicks. I mean, technically we had them, they just didn't get used. I got my ass 2-tapped by them silk slingers, and so did many others. Quite annoying to say the least. Yet we did manage to get past them, which got me a very quick understanding on how 20% more trash damage feels. Whenever there's a big AoE going, things go rough. And when playing the Herald mob in here, kicking is even more important. That thing was crushing me so hard to a point that if you get hit by 2 abilities in a row, you are cooked.
Oh, he dead!
But again, I can see the cast coming my way. We got 3 kicks up. Guess whose kick isn't up to prevent his own death? For real, please guys, use kicks. As a DPS, you have very little responsibility. The only one you have is prevent damage incoming. Kicking absolutely does that. And if you're melee, you can just kick off the global cooldown. Do that. Just do it! At this point, I was more or less amazed that we stayed in this. 15 deaths on the first boss. 16 deaths on the first boss. And that was almost something to be proud of at this point.
No?
The trash towards the second boss went pretty tame. And you wanna know why? Cause there's nothing to kick. However, we do need some kicking on those little shitheads on our way to the third boss. For the third time, I asked them to use their kicks because so far at least 20 of our deaths could have been prevented. And so naturally, of course, the guy with the lowest amount of kicks just dips the party. That man kicked 3 spells throughout the entire dungeon and then had the balls to just leave the key. His own key. Zack Andy on duty here. But I wasn't done with pain. So +3 threats it is. And we got our tank back. The one that power spammed his Avenger's shield for max amount of kicks. And this was a difference like no other. We zoomed through this easily. First death was our paladin dying to a stomp on the very last trash mob just because he hates clean sheets, which eventually led us to 3 chests in this one. And surely this isn't just a, oh, but there's no fortified angle. Be that as it may, this was my final dungeon for our first week of playing, and so the vault awaits. And while the Ruffer got absolutely shafted in almost every week of vaults, this week was no exception. Full myth track vaults, hands that I already had, a cloak that I got crafted, and a ring with shit stats. GG man. This has nothing to do with this video. I just want to share my pain. On our Druid, we at least had the benefit of the doubt. Even if it's a shit ring, it's probably an upgrade. Even if it's a tier set or convertible piece, it probably is an upgrade. Weapon was tough considering we crafted one, but I'll take the hero headpiece any day of the week. Easy vault, quick vault, better not get used to that for the future. Eventually I did finish my time working weekly, which I started last week, but I don't know if that is an upgrade or not. And I did some world quest / farming to make some coins on the side, as I planned to craft a second or even a third item this week. So we needed some liquidity.
If you're a broke boy, just say so.
So we returned to Mists on a fresh new week. A week that will haunt me, and one I'll be very happy when it's over. Arguably the most annoying and most punishing affix of this wonky ass seasonal rotation. As of right now, it's dispelling time. Devour will put a heal absorb on every player that can be dispelled with every dispel possible or heal it through. And the second part is the most important one. Healing it through means this is classified as a healer affix, pretty much like every other affix as well, but on this one, legit nobody gives the slightest shit about it. But here's the kicker. Everybody should give a shit, because if your healer fails to solo the affix, every mob in combat will regenerate 10% of their HP for every absorb that wasn't dealt with. And that paired with Tyrannical, which is also up this week, is a bad combination. The wonkiest situation is this one. People running away from me and pulling the next set of adds, so I couldn't heal them and both mobs healed themselves because of it. This affix legit infuriates me. Blizzard wanted to steer away from players having to play an affix instead of the dungeon, but this affix ruins every healer's day. By saying that, I'm well aware that this is not even a topic on hierarchies or with good players, as most of them either deal with that themselves or take so little damage that the healer easily takes care of it. But if you're a bad healer, like I am, this is horrible. I would like to play some cat in between hots, but I always have to use my Convoke to potentially have enough healing for the affix. Very, very, very annoying. I found out a good way to do this though, which simply requires me to not use Swiftness or Convoke unless the affix is up. With that being said, I need some seasoned rest remains to confirm something for me. When using Nature Swiftness, your next regrowth does 100% more healing. But when I use it and then Convoke after, the charge still remains. Does that mean that every regrowth that comes out of Convoke is also increased by 100%? Because it damn sure feels like it to me. Let me know if you know. Disregarding, that's what I did at this point. And while this Mist Key went a lot better than the last, as it ultimately ended up in a 2 chest, the siege I did after was a lot closer. Mainly to me slipping in banana peel just to be feared off into a new pack to wipe the party. There are some things in life that you can't teach. Finding new ways to wipe your party is one of them. However, it's the last boss in here. The one where you need to dispel pretty much on cooldown, paired with the affix. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. At this point I was also making some talent adjustments, as I was no longer rocking the double Swiftment, but instead went with the talent that doesn't remove the hot and instead increases the duration of it. Also extra wild growth healing, which apparently is key in, well, keys. Though the Swiftman talent change made something with me mentally. I still thought that Swiftman consumes the hot to instantly heal the player for the remaining healing it is still on it. Apparently, it's not. Now it's a flat heal, that even though it does consume a current hot, grants you a buff to apply a more powerful one afterwards. Knowing that made me play very differently, as I was a lot more confident to spot heal a gamer if needed. What my dumbass still doesn't understand is Life Bloom being giga important, as this spell itself triples the value of your mastery, meaning every target with Bloom on them takes a lot more healing. Read your talents, kids. This was only a 4, and I had to sweat my ass off to play it proper. Instantly dispel somebody, use trees on cooldown, wild growth on cooldown, and then pray that NS with Convoke will deal with the affix. Man, I can't wait to play this shit on hierarchies in the future. The penultimate dungeon of this episode was a Stone Vault. In here, a viewer gave me a quick note on how to play the first boss.
Dispel when lasers start firing.
Every time the beams are going off, that's the moment you want to dispel the tank. Apparently the debuff they have does increase cooldown regeneration. It's supposed to stay up for the longest time and just has to be dispelled before the next smash. And yet the biggest issue, again as we come full circle, was missing kicks.
You're joking.
You see, on the double boss, there's only one thing that can mess up the run. Well, besides standing in one-shots. It's the kickable cast of Brock. Keyword, kickable. Because even though I went for every range kick I could go for, we eventually wiped on just a few % missing. So let's see what happened. Brock starts casting, and not only did Billy over here kick the wrong target, Deadcraft kicked about 7 seconds too late. Cast went through, we died, GG. Oh man. We tried again, and wiped again. Shit's really tough out here. So instead of having something nice, let's go to the City of Threats again. This time with Tyrannical and the healing affix to deal with. Surely nothing can go wrong in this one. Yet the second boss was a quick spoiler on what else is to come. Having a lot of party-wide damage paired with the healing absorb is so insanely annoying to deal with. And it's also the main issue on the next boss. Big ass pulse damage and the heal absorb, paired with the extra heal absorb on the boss anyways. I had some regrets, I'm not gonna lie. But hey, what are the odds that those two abilities overlap? Am I right? Fantastic overlap, really. Nice job, Blizzard, really nice, fantastic. So much fun, so much wow, so much just nice. Just fuck me raw, dude. Give it to me, please. I beg you for more, man. Diddy me up, daddy. Holy shit, can this be any worse?